Welcome to my first ever and probably last Q&A. Maybe I'll do one when I'm 50 or 40 years old. But this is, I asked you guys on Instagram to ask me 35 questions for my 35th birthday. But before we start, because it is June, I'm not filming this in June, but it's coming out in June. We're 2 days before June. We need to get a look at the June mullets. We are saying goodbye to May and hello to June. Very important, keeping you guys updated on the monthly mullets. So I'm gonna go ahead and start with the first question. I'm gonna try and timestamp them. I've never timestamped anything on YouTube. I'll try and do my best, figure it out, so you can skip on the different questions whenever you want. First question, what's your first memory? I think memories, the way I see it, I just have flashes here and there, but most of them come from the period when I was around 5 years old, between 4 and 5. When I was in kindergarten. And it's usually, I used to hide in different toys like plastic doll houses and tubes, that they had around the yard. And I would always hide inside them. I don't know why. But I do remember one time me and my friend hid one morning before when we first went to school. And the teacher was looking for us. And I remember her talking to someone else, saying that they would call the cops to come and find us because they were very scared. I mean, losing children is a big no-no. My friend came out before me, and I came out when I heard that they were gonna call the police to come search and find us. Question number 2. What well-known piece of art do you wish you'd made? I don't know if this is going to sound arrogant, but none. Maybe because I don't have a favorite piece of art. And even if I had a favorite piece of art, I wouldn't have made it because I'm not that person. And I think admiration for a piece of work comes from the inner world of the person that created it. So I guess these hypothetical questions are very hard to answer anyway. But what I wish, instead of made a specific piece of art, I wish I would have lived in specific periods of time where big changes happened and big movements arise from those changes. But I am thinking now that maybe we might be living in such a period that we're going to realize it's actually happening in like 5, 10, 20 years. Question number 3, currently reading. Okay, so I usually read 2 things at a time, one fiction, one non-fiction. So the first one, the fiction one is Falling Man by Don DeLillo. Is basically the times, it follows a few characters during the time after 9/11, the days, the weeks, and the years afterwards. And the non-fiction that I'm currently reading is Granta magazine issue 171. I think Granta is the best literary magazine anyone can subscribe to. I get 4 copies a year. It's relatively very cheap if you get like the yearly one, the yearly subscription, the yearly recurrent subscription. I paid £40, so it's like 45 euros for 4 of these. They have fiction and non-fiction stories, poetry, photography. See here now. I think it's worth it if you like reading to subscribe to Granta. I'm not sponsored. Question number 4. I really like this one. If you could trade lives with any fictional book character for a day, who would it be and why? Okay, so I thought of this a lot. I would want to be Buck from The Call of the Wild by Jack London. So Buck is a dog. He's a sled dog. And basically the story is that he hears the call of the wild and he transforms from being like an owned dog to a free dog, and he joins a wolf pack and basically goes back to his primitive roots, and he goes back into the wild, so hence the title. Why I want to be this character? Because first of all, I like to feel how it is to be a dog. And second of all, maybe I am trying to find my own place in the wild. In a way, I don't know. Question number 5. What's the best book you've read recently? So again, I'm going to go with one fiction, one non-fiction, because I think you can't put them all in the same pot. So fiction, Call of the Wild by Jack London, and also White Fang. They're actually got them same one book, 2 stories. And White Fang actually is the opposite of Call of the Wild. It's thing is half wolf, half dog that lives in the wilderness, and he kind of joins. He becomes an own dog. So yeah, it's the reverse story. And the non-fiction book would have to be Desert Solitaire by Edward Abbey. Highly recommended. Question number 6. If you could own any piece of art, what would it be and why? Okay, I would like to own a photograph by Ansel Adams. If you don't know his work, just do a quick Google. He took pictures, these beautiful nature pictures of the wilderness. It kind of reminds me the wilderness described in The Call of the Wild and White Fang. Although I think Ansel Adams took photos in the US and Call of the Wild takes place in Yukon, Canada. Yeah, nature draws me a lot, so I'd like to have a print of a photograph by Ansel Adams. Question 7. It's your last 8 hours on Earth. How do you choose to spend them? The 3 F's: friends, family, and food. Question number 8. Do you ever get lonely? And if so, have you found a way to remedy that? I'm getting to more serious questions here. I think everyone gets lonely. It's an inevitable part of human nature. I just think that, and the weird thing about loneliness is that once you start feeling it, it makes the feeling that you're feeling, makes it even harder for you to take an action that will help you get out of it. So I kind of learned how to tell the beginning signs of when loneliness starts creeping in. So I take myself, it's easier for me to take myself out of it before I just, get down in the dumps and everything it's very dark and uncontrollable. So what I personally do is I hang out with my mom, even if she doesn't know why I go there. I feel like when I'm with my mom, I feel great always. Not great, but better. I think that's why moms are the best thing in the world. Or I go play with my twin nephews. They're 4, and they don't know about loneliness. These kids don't care about shit. They're completely honest. They don't care about hurting your feelings, and that's this. There's this pure thing about them. So I like hanging out with them. And another thing, when none of them are available, I usually go buy a tree and plant it. It's like some weird form of shopping therapy. But like if I plant a tree, I know that I will feel better down the line, because I usually plant fruit trees. So like after a year or 2 years, I'll get I'll have something back from that, let's say, dark moment. And the last tree that I planted was a peach tree. Question number 9. What keeps you going when things get unclear? The thing that keeps me going is that I know that things will get better. That's just how the world works. It's inevitably whatever comes down must go up, and what goes up must come down. It's like basic physics, the Newton's third law. For every action there's an opposite and equal reaction. Question number 10. How do you deal with self-doubt? I work more. I don't know if this is a healthy way to deal with it, but I try to do more to justify to myself that I'm good enough, which is wrong, I guess. But I saw a clip from an interview of Ilona Maher, the American rugby player. I'm gonna try and put it up after this. I think about that a lot when I'm starting to feel self-doubt. This is a very, very recent clip.
How do you overcome imposter syndrome?
I don't have that.
Really?
No, I don't know what that. It's like where you don't feel like you deserve it.
Yeah.
No, I don't think I have it.
Okay, how is that possible? I feel like imposter syndrome ruins my life sometimes.
I feel like I deserve what I've gotten. I think that I've worked very hard, even in the rugby space. Like, I've played sports my whole life. I went and played rugby at, South Burlington High School, and then I made the late decision to play rugby here, and then I transferred here to play rugby. And then I do all the work off the field. I posted videos consistently from Tokyo till now. I posted many videos a day. I put myself out there. I put my whole personality, my whole everything out there.
So basically you're just saying, don't even acknowledge it.
I just don't think I have that.
I love it.
Which I think is also like people are told sometimes to feel like they have that imposter syndrome. But it's okay to be proud of what you've done. It's okay to believe you deserve something because you've put in the work for it.
Question number 11. Which plant out of all things you have planted are you most proud of? I really like this question. My wisterias. I planted 3 wisterias about, say, 8 years ago. One of them is I must have not planted it in a good spot because it's still very small, hasn't grown much. But the other 2 have grown tremendously. And the reason I like them is because they've taught me patience, because when you first plant a wisteria, it takes about like 4 to 5 years for it to bloom. And wisterias have this beautiful hanging purple flower. And the first time they bloomed, I think one of them was 4 years in, and the other one was 5 years in. The third one is just doing its own thing. But yeah, when the first year I saw the blooms, I was so happy and ecstatic. And it's just like, if you plant something, sometimes it takes a long time for it to reward you. Question number 12. What urged you to pursue a career in art, and is art life relatable to farming life, or is it just a coincidence? I'd say that I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up because I wasn't grown up to know what I wanted, and I didn't know the ways of the world. Art life and farming life can be relatable, although I think it was a coincidence for me because my mom's side of the family were all farmers. And that's why I ended up having this piece of land with all the olive trees that I keep cultivating and keep adding new things to it. I want to hopefully make it into like this giant forest in the middle of the suburbs. Farming life can benefit art and vice versa, but that's not a rule. It can happen. A lot of people live in cities and they're great artists. I just learned to embrace more the nature aspect of it as I grew older. I think if I had to choose what I wanted to be, if I wanted to study now, I'd say I'd go into I'd be an arborist or like a conservationist or something. Question 13. What is the newest and the oldest thing in your studio right now? How are they related? I had to think of this one a lot. I think the oldest thing in the studio is a cupboard I have. It's been in this house since the 1950s when my grandpa built this house. It used to be like a china cabinet. My grandma used to use it as a china cabinet. I put it in my studio and I have like supplies and all that in there. And the newest might be this desk that I made. I'll try and put a link somewhere up here. I don't know how they do it. I'll figure that one out. It's a very functional desk for me. I'll try and put a video of how I did it. I think the way they relate is that they're both handmade and they're both made out of wood. I don't know. Question number 14. If you could give your 20-year-old self advice, what would it be? Your problems are not unique to you. Get out of your head and your ass. You're not unique. And that it gets better, and then worse, and then better, and then worse, until the day you die. Question number 15. What is your main inspiration? What things inspire you the most? I had this question a lot. So I'd say films, books, music, especially rap music because it's basically poetry. And being outside in nature because that's when my brain completely shuts off. And I like that. It's important. Question number 16. What's the weirdest source of inspiration you've ever had? I'm going to say boredom. I try to let myself be bored and not remedy my boredom with either scrolling on my phone or even actually reading a book. I try to not always be doing something because out of boredom come a lot of things. It helps you be creative. That time helps you problem solve. And I guess, boredom is a great source of inspiration. Question number 17. What tips or advice would you give to younger artists trying to make it into the industry regarding Cyprus? First of all, I hate the word industry to whatever field you want to apply it to. Probably because the only person who knows what the industry wants is the industry. And even at that, I don't know if the industry knows what it wants. I'd say keep making work, putting yourself out there. Always be one step ahead with your work. Do more work that you need to do, that you need to currently have, because opportunities arise that need work that you haven't done. So have that work already in your portfolio because things come and you're already pre-prepared for them. And also, very importantly, be honest with your work, because if it doesn't feel honest to you, it won't feel true to others as well. And people are very good at calling out bullshit. Question number 18. What are your thoughts on the art scene of Cyprus? Is it promising? There are many talented people in Cyprus, and it could be promising, but the state doesn't really care about the arts. They just funnel all their money in football. I'm very glad that Vima Art Fair happened. Big shout out to Edgar, Lara, and Nadeshda for putting this amazing art fair together and putting Cyprus on the map regarding the arts. And now that they've done this, I've told this to Edgar on one of the days when I was at Vima, is that no one can come up now and say that we can't do stuff like that in Cyprus, because they did, and they did it damn well. With they put up the first bar up here. So shout out to those guys. I hope things are gonna change after this. Question number 19. To you as an artist, what is the purpose of art and the role of an artist in society? That's a big question. Society would be the equivalent of an unsalted gray chicken breast that's been boiled to infinity. Imagine a world without films, without series, without music, without songs on the radio, without concerts, without concert posters, without cartoons, without animations, without poetry, without graphic novels, without dance, without sculptures, without theater, without car design, without furniture design, without architecture, without even color palettes, even graphic design. Imagine no fonts, no branding, no nothing. That's the purpose of art in society. Question number 20. What's your materials and process for making your art? Okay, so materials change usually with each project. I'm currently using airbrush with diluted acrylic paint. The process is usually the same as to how I approach each project. I usually have it 90 to 95% done in my head, and then I start executing. I don't have a sketchbook. I don't take notes. I just resolve everything in my head and start doing it. Question number 21. What's your artist journey? How have you found your love for art, and what has shaped your style and the way you express yourself through your art? That's a big question. So I started drawing when I was very young, just like every kid. I just never stopped. I think everyone has this point in their early life where they're very creative and then it just stops. So I think I haven't found my love for art. I just continue doing it, and it feels like something I would do anyway, like, I don't know, brushing my teeth or cooking lunch. Just something that I do. I don't feel love for art. It's just something very inherent in me. Like, I love literature. I like to learn about new authors and new books, and I just have this obsession of learning new things. But I don't have that for art. I don't know if it's good or bad. It works for me. My knowledge of like art history is very little. I know even less about artists and all that. But I think it's the not knowing of what was before that allows me to do what I do. I think the less you know, it's better sometimes. As long as you don't copy people, just the possibilities that your brain creates are infinite. Question number 22. How did you make it work? I'm guessing this question is asking about like my art career. Like I said before, I did the work before the opportunities came. I just worked a lot, and I still do. Like I don't work only when I have a project or a deadline. I do work outside of that. And when the opportunities didn't come, I would go and find the opportunities. I would go and find the right people to show them my work. Because I had this idea like 10 years ago that someone would magically walk into my studio and tell me how great my art is and take me by the hand and show me the world, It's been a very slow process, but looking back, I can see all the small steps that I did. And it was basically just working, assessing, putting small goals. So I can look back and see all the steps that I took and where each step has taken me, how it has taken me forward. Question number 23. With which other mediums would you like to experiment that you haven't done yet? I've been thinking about this recently. And I think metal, I'd like to learn how to weld and how to handle different types of metal. And maybe, I don't know, do sculptures with them, giant metallic sculptures. But now it's not the time for it. The time will come. And I'm sure other things are going to come before that. But that's something I would like to do at some point. Question number 24. In what way does creating art affect your life? We're all born creative people. Like I said before, we all draw and like do stuff when we are very young. I don't think it has affected my life. I think the right question actually is, how does giving up creating has affected your life? I think that's the question we should be asking. Question number 25. How would you describe your visual style? I really never know how to answer this question. I guess maybe I'd say it's with the times, although that doesn't really describe the style but the theme. So I don't know, you tell me, how would you describe my style? Question number 26. How has your favorite color changed through the years? That's a good question because a lot of people just ask, what's your favorite color? I really like earthen tones in general, like beiges and browns and yellows and all that. Probably because of Cyprus, it's a very yellow country for most of the year. It's like, desert colors. I like desert colors. But one color that's been throughout my work in one shade or another is pink. And although I don't own anything pink, it always creeps up in different ways. I don't know. Question number 27. What message or emotion do you hope people take away from your art? I don't wish them for anything specific. I just know that if they find their own way to relate to my work, and if my work makes them feel something, then I have succeeded. And that's all. Each person translates and perceives things differently. And that's the beauty of art, I guess. Question number 28. How do you decide when a piece is finished? I really like this question. When I lose interest. When I lose interest, it means that I have given everything I wanted to give to it and I feel like I'm done with it emotionally. So that's when I know it's done. Because it means I've given everything I had to give to it and I've run out of personal resources, Question number 29. Do you think if you were in a different country, you would strive more? Perhaps, depending which country, because if you go to like big European countries, there's more competition. There's a bigger art scene. So maybe I would have pushed myself more. But these types of questions, like the what if questions, they're so incredibly hypothetical that in order to answer it, you have to create an entire parallel universe. Because if I was in that city, I would do this and I would be with this kind of people. So this is just, I'll probably push myself more. I don't know. Question number 30. If you could go back 15 years, what would you tell yourself in a 50 to 100 word paragraph? Okay, this was oddly specific. So 15 years ago would be 20 years exactly to the date. So I wrote this down. So I would say, this is me talking to my past self. I would say, you're about to make what seems bad choices and take what seems wrong turns. You're going to grow up and feel disgusted by the decisions of your current self and also be angry that you didn't know better. But that's the thing, you don't know better. You will only know better by every single right and wrong choice you will make in the next 15 years. You're going to turn 35 and still feel cringed out by your former self, even the version of you that will exist in 14 years when you're 34. Don't try to change anything because you will not be where I am today. Question number 31. Which is the artwork that you're most proud of over your whole lifetime from age 0 to 35? That was also a very hard question because I don't remember things that I did like 2 years ago. But I think I'm most proud of my the stippling, the dot work backs, because it was a grueling task and I had to force myself to go through it. Even though I knew I had the skill to create the final product, I think what happened between the initial idea and the final product, all those hours of working on it, I'm most proud of. Question number 32. Name your favorite piece of art made by you and by another artist. For better or for worse, it's usually the most recent one because it's more fresh and you're more excited about it. I'd have to say the big one I did recently titled Ultimate Fighting Renaissance. I feel like I do tend to like my bigger works, so maybe I should strive to do bigger works. And my favorite work by another artist. So I found this artist recently on Instagram. I don't have a favorite piece of him. His name is Lucian. I wrote it down. Lucian Pruna. He's a Romanian oil painter, and he paints these still lifes in like Renaissance or Impressionist style. But the objects in the still life are like 21st century. So he draws pack of Marlboros with like crisps, or the screen of like a 90s computer of someone playing, I think it was like GTA. So yeah, I really like that guy's work, Lucian Pruna. Question number 33. How do you envision your art developing? I don't. I can't. If I could envision it, I would have already done it. So, but that's the exciting part, to see what's gonna come after. I hope I don't disappoint myself. Question number 34. What are your future plans regarding your art? Future professional plans. I got asked this question twice. You know, as much as I do by this point, keep doing what I do. I do have a group exhibition in Athens in September. So that's coming up. I'm working towards that. So I'll spend the summer working on that project. Final question, question number 35. Where do you see yourself in 5 years? I feel like I'm doing like an interview for someone. In 5 years, I see myself represented by galleries outside of Cyprus as well, doing exhibitions outside of Cyprus. The one in Athens is a good start. I see myself being solely financially, what do you call it? Making a living out of my art, and be financially stable to hire a constant gardener to help with the weeding and the pruning, because my parents are getting old and they help less and less. Bless them, they already help a lot. I like my life as it is right now, and I just wish for it to keep progressing in all the directions that I've already set a foot on. Thank you for sending your questions in. Some of them were like fantastic. All of them were great. But some of them made me really think of my work in ways that I haven't before. So thank you for that. And I'll see you on the next video.